Good evening. Good evening. I'd like to call Independent School District 721 to order. Denny's on?
Yeah, Denny's on.
Great. So all board members are present. Denny is with us remotely. So we are all here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Perfect. Well, we're going to just start right behind me with our Spotlight on Success cast members from the middle school play, Moana.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Brad Krieger. I'm the principal at the middle school. Thank you for having us here tonight. So I have some students from the cast of Moana Junior that are going to be doing a song for you tonight. Our directors are not here tonight, but I want to recognize them. We have Jane Samsel, who is our director, and then our assistant director is Allie Myers. So our students have been preparing for the musical, which will be performing in March. So if you're interested in coming to the musical, it'll be in March. So please look for the signage that'll be in the New Prague Times coming up, but also on our website. So at this time, I'm going to have each of our performers introduce themselves with their name, their grade, and also their part in the play.
Don't be shy.
My name is Lucy Johnson. I'm in 7th grade, and I'm Moana.
Hi, I'm Bella Smith, and I'm an 8th grader, and I'm Pua.
I'm Maddie Kemper. I'm in 7th grade, and I play Hey Hey.
My name is Jaden, and I'm in 8th grade, and I'm in Moana.
My name's Lillian Swenson. I'm in 7th grade and I'm playing Ocean.
My name is Josie Meyer and I'm in 7th grade and I'm in Ocean.
My name is Hannah. I'm in 7th grade and I am part of the Ocean.
My name is Megan Warning and I'm part of the Ocean.
My name is Madeline Hammer and I'm part of the Ocean.
Megan and Madeline, how old, or what grade are you in?
7.
Thank you.
So me.
I've been staring at the edge of the water long as I can remember, never really knowing why. I wish I could be the perfect daughter, but I come back to the water no matter how hard I try. Every turn I take, every trail I track, every path I make, every road leads back to the place I know where I cannot go, where I long to be. See the line where the sky meets the sea, it calls me, and no one knows how far it goes. If the wind in my sail on the sea stays behind me, one day I'll know. If I go, there's just no telling how far I'll go. I know everybody on this island. Just keep going. I know everybody on this island seems so happy on this island. everything is by design. I know everybody on this island has a role on this island, so maybe I can roll with mine. I can lead with pride, I can make us strong. I'll be satisfied if I play along, but the voice inside sings a different song. What is wrong with me? I can do this. There's more fish beyond the reef. There's more beyond the reef.
Moana, wait! Don't go out there. It's too dangerous.
Don't try to stop me.
Then I'm going with you.
Are you sure?
Hey, I'm going too.
All right, here we go.
As it shines on the sea.
There's more words.
Wait, I need the track for this. The track is a very. Go on. Why are these waves so big?
Because we're sailing past the reef.
We are? Huh. I've never been past the reef before. Nobody has. What did you think we were doing? Hey, I didn't want to get ditched. Also, adventure. Hello.
Adventure, here we come. See the light as it shines on the sea.
It's blinding, and no one knows how far it goes.
And it seems like it's calling out to me, so come find me and let me know.
What's beyond that line? Will I cross that line? The line where the sky meets the sea.
It calls me, and no one knows how far it goes. If the wind in my sail on the sea stays behind me, one day I'll know how far I'll go.
Any questions for the girls?
No, just great job, guys. I bet you guys never know all these people are going to come to watch you guys sing this morning. So.
That was awesome.
So if you would like to see the entire performance, we will be having a senior preview at 3:30 p.m. for our senior citizens in our community on March 17th. And then that will be followed by 3 performances. March 18th, which is a Friday at 7 p.m., Saturday, the 19th, we'll have performances at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m., and then Sunday, March 20th at 2 p.m. If you're interested in tickets, please call the middle school office. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Round of applause here.
All right.
Thank you.
Forget your water bottles. Get gifts for doing that. Oh, why don't you hand these over here?
Love you guys.
Thank you so much.
Great job, you guys.
All right, so thank you everyone for coming and attending our board meeting on this great, beautiful night. Just to go over some rules, and I'm going over them because we have lots of open forums tonight, so I just want to bring everybody up. Open forum cards have been turned in. Our goal is to provide an orderly and efficient and fair opportunity for those who have asked to present, to be heard. So we want to make sure that there's no background noise so that we can hear, because sometimes it's kind of hard to hear up here. Your remarks are limited to 5 minutes, and Mark is going to keep track, and he'll put a little piece of paper up for a 1-minute warning. That's going to be easier than trying to wave, because sometimes I wave and people are like, do you have a question? Nope. Just 1-minute warning. Personal attacks on anyone addressing the board are unacceptable, and such remarks by individuals will terminate that person speaking. And we just ask that everyone refrain from any demonstration of support or opposition during our open forum time. Okay? So, school board. Denny, can you hear us?
I can hear you very well.
Perfect. All right. Okay. So I will start out with Jody Blumhofer. She is a parent of the New Prague High School student, and she is here to discuss racial concerns.
Hi, I don't know if I'm supposed to sit.
You can go ahead and have a chair.
Sit right in the mic.
Years I've been in schools with different parts of my family. I think I know this. As you said, my name is Jody Blumhofer.
Jody, I'm just going to stop you quick. Just talk right into that microphone.
You can bend it.
This one?
Yep, either
Okay.
one.
And I am the mother of 2 graduates, one from 2020 and one from 2021, and 1 current student who is currently in 10th grade. And I think it's important that I want to start out by saying I have found some of the most amazing experiences here in New Prague for my children. I have seen teachers who have been there for my kids and have turned their entire world around. And when I say that, I don't know how much I can stress that. In particular, my oldest son struggled a lot. And by the time he graduated, one of the administrators had said, I've never seen somebody make as many changes as you have in all of my years of being in education. So I think it's important to start there. Then I'm going to go to my next child, whose name is Devin. And Devin was born Mary. And Devin let me know at age 14 that Devin was not Mary anymore, but Devin was Devin. And I said, well, that sucks because I really like the name Mary. And then we went forward. Unfortunately, Devin didn't experience the exact same, like, who cares, let's move on experience from everybody in the schools. That's just life. I, as a parent, know this. I tried to protect Devin, and I tried to get Devin ready. I had seen some really great, amazing people. Miss Adams, I don't know where you are, but she was one of them. I can tell you about a specific incident where I was enraged, and my kids tend to get worried when I get angry. And I turned around as we were driving home, and Devin said, Mom, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to go talk to the principal because of an incident where Devin was called it. And when I came to the school, instead of feeling the resistance that I thought I would feel, or the oh, we'll just look into it, I didn't have that. I got an immediate, this isn't acceptable, we need to address it, we need to get on this now. That was Miss Adams. And my Devin heard that, and my Devin walked out of it thinking, I mattered. It mattered that I was hurt. Somebody heard me. And you know what? There were kids, I to this day don't know who they are, and I don't really care who they are, and they were suspended. But as I talked to Devin, who is now living his best life down in Texas, working at a horse racing ranch for high-end horses, and I couldn't even imagine doing what he's doing, but he told me he wanted to say this, but I'm here for him, and he wanted to make sure that you understood that you have great staff who are ready, and they want to jump in to fix this. And they're here, and they're ready, and but Devin also wanted me to be clear that he didn't have it that bad. and I'm just going to end with this little caveat because I think it's important. You see, I mentioned Sam earlier, And as I said, Sam had some issues, and Sam is a big guy. He was a backup center for the football team, so that gives you an idea. And when Sam would hear about Devin being mocked, they didn't run in the same circles, but when he heard about it, being 1 year older, he would make a point to find those people. And Sam didn't do anything to them, but Sam had a reputation that he had earned from early on. And people were concerned if Sam was upset with them. And Sam would stare. That's all he'd do. And he'd just look at them. And eventually, and it wouldn't take very long, those people would come to Sam and say, "Man, I'm so sorry, dude. I shouldn't have bothered your brother." And Sam would listen to him and look at him, and he'd just say, "You know what? Don't apologize to me. Apologize to Devin." And I should be proud of that, but I don't need to. I'm not. It makes me sad. Because not everybody has a Sam. Devin did, and Devin says his life was better because he had a Sam. But I want to tell you guys, nobody should need a Sam. I'm sad because there are kids that don't have a Sam. I would like it so we don't need Sams. I'd like it that the people that you have, the staff, Mr. Dipburner, who he taught me in school, sorry, don't mean to age you, or me, but I just want to say, listen to them. They'll tell you, Miss Adams, they'll tell you. We're here, this is where we are, perception is reality. We just got to fix it.
Thank you, Jody. Aaron Steinhoff.
Hi, everybody.
Oh.
Hi, Karen.
When news of the hate speech incidents hit the media, the overall response I heard from alumni, students, and even some teachers was, well, that's not surprising. Over the last week, I've listened to a flood of heartbreaking stories about hate speech being a regular occurrence among our students at New Prague area schools. The New Prague High School choir group Emotion made a public statement recognizing hate speech as an ongoing problem in their school, and they vowed to help eliminate it. In an email to parents, New Prague High School principal Nicole Adams courageously acknowledged that punishment treats only the symptoms. They don't treat the root cause of the problems in our schools. She then initiated listening sessions with her students to gather more information in an effort to understand the depth of the problem that we have. In 2 media statements last week, Superintendent Dittburner finally acknowledged publicly that there is a district-wide problem with hate speech and that the district's response has not been good enough. In a similar statement, the school board chairperson, Pexa, stated, "We as a school district will not ignore the situation. The board will be discussing the situations at our next work session." So, your kids, your principal, your superintendent, and your school board chair all see a district-wide problem that must be remedied. Although discussing situation is a good first step, it doesn't go nearly far enough. I want to know what action steps the school board will be taking to effect change on this issue. I want to know what kind of measurable goals you will set for yourselves, your administration, and your staff. I want to know how you will know if you're successful or not. And since multiple emails to school board members and Superintendent Dittburner have gone completely unanswered, I want to know how your actions will be communicated to the public. Your silence on this matter is a contributing problem. You need to use your voices to speak up for kids who have been humiliated and hurt. You need to use the power of your elected positions to make school a safe place for all kids. You need to use your influence as community leaders to educate parents and residents about the long-reaching effects that hate speech can have on all of us, not just the students. These past few weeks have been humiliating for students and teachers and school officials and residents of New Prague. But now we should look at this as an opportunity to make positive change. The first step in solving a problem is admitting that there is one. Students, administrators, Superintendent Dittburner, and Chairperson Pexel have all had the courage to speak the truth about this problem, and now we need to get to work to fix it. To that end, I want to let you know that there are a lot of us out here who are very willing to help. We will be attending future board meetings and work sessions and would be happy to assist in any actions that you take to resolve this problem, because there is a problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Next up, I have Rachel Krieger Harmon. Hi, Rachel.
Thanks for having me. I am a teacher at New Prague High School. I'm a graduate of New Prague, class of 91. My father taught here for 30 plus years. My mom taught at St. Wentz for a number of years as well. Education means a lot to us, to my family. I'm here to present a statement from a number of staff members at the high school about our commitment to making positive change. We teachers and staff members of New Prague High School want to address the issues of hate speech and hurtful behaviors of some New Prague High School students. We stand behind Principal Adams' statement to students and families denouncing white supremacy and racist, xenophobic, and anti-LGBTQ words, actions, and symbols. Acknowledging that this is not the first time incidents like this have occurred, we recognize that this is an issue that needs to be addressed in our schools and in our community as a whole, and it needs to happen now. We are committed to putting in the work needed to educate ourselves and our students and to make our school a safe and welcoming place for all. We need to cultivate a community where students understand empathy and are encouraged and equipped to speak up and speak out against hate. We work in education to make a difference in the lives of all young people, no matter their race, gender, gender identity, sexual orientation, religion, ability, etc. Thank you.
Ann Christie.
Good evening. My name is Ann Christie. I'm a New Prague resident and a newly retired educator, having taught for over 32 years. This evening, I would like to talk not about what happened or allegedly happened at New Prague High School sporting events on the evening of February 15th, but more about what is and has been happening in the halls of our schools, on social media, and in our community. Specifically, the hate speech, the intolerance for people who are perceived as different, and the damaging silence and indifference. Last evening, I gathered socially with some like-minded friends, community members, both adults and some students, just to discuss and to try to process all that has happened since February 15th. You see, we are all affected. We shared and we listened. I was having a difficult time wrapping my head around all that was being shared, people's truths, their experiences, their feelings and opinions, great ideas. And that's how I went to bed. This morning, before I even opened my eyes, I was already thinking about it, thinking about what I needed to impart to you today. There is so much. And I was so preoccupied this morning that I struggled with what has become a very simple morning routine in my retirement. Now imagine what it's like for a student, a child, who has to deal with hate speech, or even a student who witnesses hate speech. They are expected to follow a routine, Go to class. Listen. Read. Comprehend. Discuss. Learn. Go home and do homework. No easy feat when you are preoccupied because of what happened to you today or yesterday or something that you've witnessed. Imagine carrying that into school with you every single day. As a teacher of 32 years, I can tell you, no learning, and I'll repeat that, no learning takes place when a student is preoccupied with such ruinous issues as being victimized by a fellow student who thinks it's acceptable to hurl hate speech at others. For the last few years of teaching, I found it necessary to take the time to begin each of our days with a morning meeting, just to find out which students were dealing with issues and were likely to struggle to learn that day. Learn anything. Last evening, it was suggested by a student that the adults in this district have no idea as to the real extent of this problem. Kids are not reporting for a variety of reasons, including 1, they see it as futile. If they do report to school personnel, either nothing seems to happen or the victimizer is suspended for 2 days according to policy, only to return and go right back to the same behaviors. And 2, if they were to report it to their parents, they are afraid of what their parents might do about it. And they are not willing to deal with embarrassment, being ostracized, or even bullied themselves. Our district is in pain. We are in need of some serious help. We are in need of finding the truth. We are in need of the expertise to combat this problem, expertise that we clearly do not have here. We are in need of an independent third party with the needed expertise to get to the bottom of this, to provide some analysis and some direction forward. I would also suggest that an independent task force made up of community members be utilized to assist with this process, to support all of you moving forward, and to hold all of us accountable. Lastly, I want to thank each and every board member. We chose you. We elected you. Please know that you are supported by many in this community in your efforts to ensure that New Prague has a stellar public education system. I acknowledge the heavy load that you carry, and I thank you for all that you do. We are here for you, and we are ready to roll up our sleeves. I would also like to thank Principal Adams for all of her work and for her courage to make a strong and bold statement of truth. Perhaps that was the necessary first step, the impetus to real and lasting changes for the better in our school district and in our community.
And I have to cut you off.
I'm sorry?
You're beyond 5 minutes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening.
Next up, I have Melissa Horish. Thank you.
I married into that name, so don't worry. I know it's a normal thing in the school district, but it's not. It wasn't for me. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all that you've been doing the last 2 years plus. I know it's been hard. Almost 2 weeks ago, 2 separate incidents at our New Prague schools happened regarding racist remarks and actions. I'm not here to discuss the incident itself, but the spirit in which it was interpreted and the racism that exists in in general in our community. I'm grateful that Superintendent Dipburner and Principal Adams stated publicly that our school environment wants us to be proactive and educate to prevent further incidents. It was refreshing to know that our high school principal is stepping up and offering listening sessions for students, and that we need to be more proactive and not reactive. I wholeheartedly agree with Superintendent Dittberner that this is a tremendous opportunity to make enduring and systematic change across our entire school district and community. Sorry. Principal Adams wrote that we must do more, and the we includes adults, students, parents, and community members. We as a New Prague community are so very lucky. Having school leadership like this is extremely hard to come by. Stepping up to say our community has a problem and that we need to have it fixed is hard. I'm here tonight because I agree with our administration. We need to do more, and it shouldn't fall only on the students or the staff at New Prague. Each and every one of us in this room needs to enter into this conversation and realize that we have a lot of room for improvement in our community for understanding and accepting diversity in all forms. I want you to know that my family, as well as many in this room and in the New Prague area in general, want to see change. We want to know what steps are coming next. What professional development will happen for the administration, the staff, students, and you as our elected school board? You're not alone, and it is not only a school problem, but an issue for all of us to learn and grow. I'm all about learning and growing, by the way, as a teacher. Please know that you can expect a number of us to be with you every step of the way, and we're interested in working with the schools. We as a community can help follow the New Prague way, to do what's right, to commit to excellence, and to show people that we care. I'll end with one more word of thanks. Thanks for allowing a space where our school administrators can empower their staff, students, and the community to do what's right. Thanks for supporting our administration so that way we can grow. We can work on eradicating hate speech from our school and community culture. As a community member and a parent of a high schooler, I'm ready to be a part of that change and partnership and moving forward. Thanks.
Thank you. Wendy Mathewicz.
Good evening. I'd like to start just by saying that I don't believe that the majority of people that live here in New Prague are overtly racist. However, I am surprised by the number of people who have made ugly statements to me before they knew that we were not like-minded. We have a lot of work to do to become anti-racist, and in my mind, there is no line, there is no space between being racist and anti-racist. We must decide which side of history we're going to be on. I wasn't at the girls' basketball game. I don't know what happened. But what I do know is that there are at least 2 other confirmed cases of students making racist remarks within a month of this game. I know that 2 other schools have determined that they will not play New Prague for the remainder of the school year because of the environment that we have allowed to happen. I know that the athletic director from St. Louis Park had concerns about New Prague when considering whether or not we would be admitted to the West Metro Conference in June of 2020. This is not a series of isolated events. This is a pattern of behavior, and we need to make a change. I was heartened to read the message from Principal Adams. As others have said, it addressed the problem head-on as much more than an isolated incident. She took a clear position on racism and what is acceptable and what's unacceptable. I was simultaneously disappointed by the silence from the majority of administration and this board. Your silence sent a message. On the New Prague Area Schools website, we tout the New Prague Way, which, as Melissa just said, is doing what's right. It's specified as meeting all students' needs, academic, social, emotional, and physical. Clearly, there are places that we're falling short. Commitment to excellence in all we do and showing people you care, specifically conscious acts of kindness, are listed as something that we do I believe that this is a vision that we have for New Prague. One of the reasons that we moved to New Prague over 20 years ago was because of the school district, because of the educators, because of the quality of people who are here, and because of the caring in the district. I believe that this is an opportunity for us to grow into that vision. To grow into that vision, though, I think we need to look at professional education training for administration, for the board, for faculty, staff, and students. I think we need a more significant presence of diversity, equity, and inclusion officers within the buildings, more specifically within the high school, the middle school, and someone separate to be addressing the elementary schools. One person cannot do this work by themselves. We need an increased presence of representational media within our library and our classrooms. Representation matters. We need consistent implementation of response protocols. And in the long run, we need increased diversity at all levels of our faculty, staff, and administration. We need to do more than just talk the talk. We need to walk the walk. This is our opportunity for growth into our vision of what we can be. And as others have said, we're here to support you and to help and to do what we can. And I thank you for your time.
Next up, I have Dan Call. Hi, Dan.
Thank you. It's good to see everybody again. As you guys know, I have strong opinions on ways that I believe we should improve the community standards in our schools. In this case, the ideal of justice requires the pursuit of that which is fair, moral, and right. In order to achieve justice, it always requires a serious effort to get down to the truth or reality of an issue or situation. Perception is not reality. One thing is certain, our perceptions, all of our perceptions, are a little bit off from reality. And our mission in life should be to search out what is actually true. Whenever hot button issues come up, there is always immense pressure from the crowd to do something to show how seriously we take the accusation and how opposed you are to the behavior that was alleged. The higher the pressure, the easier it is for humans to justify taking shortcuts. Most stories are more complex than what is presented. We wait impatiently for the results and methods of the investigation to be made public. We also remind the board, administrators, communities, and our neighbors from other school districts the obligations that justice requires of us all. An investigation must be conducted by a fair and competent organization with a focus on both the intent and the actions of all parties. It also must be completed in a timely manner. If all or parts of the claims at the hockey or basketball game are unsubstantiated by the investigation, the school board, the superintendent, and Principal Adams owe the parents, coaches, and students a clear and unequivocal statement of support. Issuing punishment, or even worse, bureaucratic innuendo with unsubstantiated claims is wrong and is not justice. Your statements to date have been widely interpreted as an admission of guilt of the students and the coaches and the members of our community. If the claim or parts of the claims are proven true, there should be a clear and complete report of the actions taken and what was or was not said or done by all parties involved and the actions taken by the district. If our students were treated improperly by students, coaches, or administrators in any regard, we should make sure we openly insist that all types of unacceptable behavior are dealt with. Regardless of whether the claims are proven true or false, the accusers and the accused need to recognize that forgiveness is always the best path, and a society that does not forgive is destined for perpetual strife. Outside of these clear statements and accusations, grow and continue to fuel the crowd's effort to make unjust blanket statements and for other districts to give into demands to boycott our school district. The parents and teachers group in New Prague is under no illusions that everything is okay in New Prague schools. We have been advocating for improvements that can be made, and we stand ready to assist the district in defending our students and coaches against false accusations and in supporting the district in efforts at improving and enforcing higher community standards. Thank you very much.
Angie Erickson.
Thank you. My name is Angie Erickson. I've been a school counselor at New Prague High School for 30 years. I'm angry on behalf of our student body, particularly our Black, Indigenous students of color, as well as our LGBTQ populations. In at least 8 hours of listening sessions that I helped field, I heard with abundant clarity that marginalized populations experience hate speech on a daily basis. The N-word, the F-slur, much, much more. Students shared that some staff overhear these comments and don't address them. They know other students overhear as well, yet ignore it. This is an insidious problem that needs a very bright light to shine on it. The harms that have impacted these students are irreparable. These are life trajectories taking place. I'm angry on behalf of the rest of our student body as well, white, non-marginalized students whose high school's reputation now precedes them and reflects poorly on their ability to function, communicate, work with, and live in a diverse world where people are different from each other. One student put it very well. They said, "You don't have to change your beliefs, you just have to be kind." The students find it mind-boggling that the principles they learned in preschool are not implemented by both students and, at times, adults in our school. The problem is, I did not need to sit during hours of listening sessions to know that these concerns exist. Since 2016, in the divisive political campaign that has nurtured hatred and ignorance over cooperation and intelligent dialogue, New Prague High School has increasingly become a place where students are more willing to express bigoted viewpoints and harass each other based on perceived beliefs. Again, students put it well when they said, "Your politics just don't matter. There can be mean Democrats and kind Republicans and vice versa." But this is about human rights. In addition, the underlying systemic racism that certainly exists here provides a foundation for discrimination to continue unchecked. We need to enter 2022 like many in our country who are honestly grappling with the terrible results of institutionalized racism. For those who do not seem to understand the historical accuracy and sociological implications of this, please take it upon yourself to explore this topic through the numerous avenues available in a developed, civilized nation. The reason I am livid, as are others at this point, is that 5 years ago, we had an equally disturbing wake-up call and an opportunity to begin educating our staff and students in diversity, equity, and inclusion practices. It was abundantly clear that our staff at all levels, myself included, needed to help improve, learn, and grow in our collective response to systemic racism, as well as multiple other areas of bigoted behaviors and perspectives. And Ms. Adams has taken numerous steps to start with meaningful professional development for our staff. It is not clear to me that there is enough support for Ms. Adams' bold and direct steps. She certainly cannot do this alone. In the 5 years since that last very public issue of racism, evidence shows that we have not done the work to help prevent the same sorts of things from continuing to happen. We are repeating the same steps over again from the beginning. Seeing how this has caused irreparable harm to students is intolerable. The recent email responses from Mr. Dittburner, while I am positive are well-intended, placate rather than present actionable terms. Another student in response to one of these emails said, his email said it's hurtful. What I think is hurtful is being called racial and homophobic slurs. Listening sessions describe the problems, but honestly, I'm done listening to those descriptions. This is not new. I'm impatient. It's taken 5 years. There must be valuable action at this point, and from the students' perspectives, they don't see this action. We should all feel as if we have failed. What are we doing to reform our staff to show that this behavior is unacceptable? What am I doing to ensure this doesn't happen again? What are each of us in this room doing to ensure that this doesn't happen again? We need to ensure that as a federally funded public education system that we protect all students from all forms of harassment and hate speech so that they may all enjoy a safe, non-intimidating school day, every day. As a school counselor privy to very private conversations, I'm terribly well aware that we do not currently offer this federally mandated protection. We are not a zero-tolerance school, and impacted students have all but given up on expecting that we will become one. Our principal, Ms. Adams, has done a magnificent, back-breaking job of responding to these concerns. Our new equity director, Mr. Fulton, is working tirelessly alongside her. They both deserve our appreciation, but I agree with all the other speakers that they are unable to do this alone. I implore you to give your full, unequivocal support to Ms. Adams and Mr. Fulton and the action steps that they are planning. I urge you to follow the meaningful lead of other school districts who carefully do a needs assessment, deep introspection, and self-reflection, and create the structures and staffing, including additional equity positions, to help bring needed improvements and change to our district. Please be invested in learning with humility, character, and integrity how racism and bigotry impact our students so that we can step up together and work on behalf of dismantling discrimination and prejudice from within our school system. Thank you very much.
I received 2 after the meeting had started, and I will allow them. Kristen Verhoeven. Baby handoff.
A piece of paper. Thank you for your guys' time tonight. I will keep it brief. So I am a former resident and alum of New Prague High School. Kind of what other people have mentioned, I had an awesome experience in New Prague, and I really care about this issue for a lot of reasons, one of which I think everyone deserves to have an amazing experience in school. A bare minimum would be safety and respect, and I don't think that I would be who I am today if some of the people in this room didn't care about me, and that could make me cry, but sorry. I also treat kids for mental health conditions. Sorry, I didn't think I'd get so emotional about this, but I feel really strongly about this issue. And every day in my work as a psychiatric nurse practitioner, I see the effects of racism and harassment and bullying, and I will tell you that kids that have support come through it so much better than those that don't. And the community really matters. And the way that the school district responds to this can make or break the future of kids, and not just those in our school district in New Prague, but those who are witnessing this happen in their own schools, even outside of Minnesota. Like I said, I had a fantastic experience here as a student in New Prague, despite some struggles, and I really just want everyone to achieve their full potential in life. And if we don't support kids and keep them safe in school, like Miss Christie said, sorry, she was my teacher, so she's Miss Christie to me. But we can't learn, and we can only achieve what we see in other people's eyes. And if people are limiting us, we're gonna be limited, right? If people are telling us who we are, that's all we're gonna think that we can be, right? And if people aren't challenging us and supporting us, we're not gonna be who we can be. Right, so that's why I care about this issue. I care about humans, and I know you all do too, right? And we're all really passionate about this, and I hope that we can put differences about other issues aside, right? Even the issue of race, I don't care what you think. I know we all care about protecting kids, right? And so my sisters and I kind of came together with this joint rage, as we call it, and created a petition in support of changes to some of the current school policies, and I can give you a copy of it, but it has over 3,000 signatures of support, and it's not to place shame or guilt. It's really just baby steps into a direction forward so that students know who they can go to, and they also know what happens when they tell people about their experiences of harassment, racism, whatever it is, right? So that they feel safe to even share what's going on in school. Right? So whether that's having people introduced to each classroom or the whole school as, allies or people to go to if they have issues, or changing the policies so that things can happen quicker and not in a sort of haphazard way, right? There's nothing that should be more intentional than the future and protection of children. I mean, I have a kid, and I can't imagine seeing my kid harassed and having other grown-ass people do nothing about it. Sorry. That's it.
our final speaker is Roman Griffin. Roman Griffin. Hey, Roman.
Hi, everyone.
How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Good. Just take a deep breath. You'll be just fine.
Okay. I just wanted to speak with everyone about the issues that's happening at New Prague High School. These issues are ongoing and have been occurring for years. There's kids now speaking out that have actually left the school due to these issues. There's a student who actually sent letters to administration letting them know what was occurring, and nothing has been done about it. Because look at us today. We're still dealing with these issues. We have to take a look at each other and society. The society is not diverse at all. Like, you guys as school board, there's no type of diversity whatsoever. So you guys can't possibly understand where we're coming from as people of color. The looks on everyone's faces here are not concerning enough for me, honestly, because kids are going home having to deal with these issues. It's affecting their learning, their livelihood, their emotional stability, and more. And people are still dealing with it, like, for their whole lives. Like, when are we gonna actually do something about it? I honestly didn't know I was gonna speak here today, but yeah. And where's the 4% of diversity that goes to our school today? I just came to the school, and there's actually kids who have been here for years and who have actually dealt with these issues, and I think they need to speak out also. How are you guys today gonna take what we're saying and actually apply it in your homes, to your children, and to the people around you? How are we going to change the education being taught to the students that are struggling with these racial issues? I don't think there was enough action taken to the kids who said the racial slurs, like what occurred at the basketball game, the hockey game. I don't think those kids got enough. Like, they need to be taught, like, the actual educational and generational things that's actually occurring. I also think this stuff needs to be implemented in the schools. Yeah. And students are also paying for the decisions you guys make as adults. So I think you guys need to, start being careful about what you do. I think you guys should start taking accountability. And, that's all I have to say.
That took a lot. And we heard you. We heard all of the open forums. We've heard it, and we are going to do something about it. Okay? But I just want to say, from the board, we appreciate what you came and said. Because as a mom, it's easy to become the mama bear. But for you to stand before all of these people and say something, that's commendable. So thank you. And I am not discrediting anyone else. I am not. But for a student to come before the board, that's commendable. And I think you all agree with me. Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Approval for the consent agenda, please.
So move.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Board committee reports. Policy?
No.
I
I mean, we didn't meet. There was a group. We talked about
Yep,
this.
we just reviewed policy
MSB
review.
policies, no changes. Yes.
Southwest Metro, Denny.
Southwest Metro had their meeting on the 15th of this month. It was a very good meeting. We had a very positive financial report from our finance person. We are sitting with a good cash reserve. We have our building at Dean Lakes practically filled. There are a few programs that are still interested in some space at our building, but it's going along very well. In spite of COVID, the year has been quite successful, and things are in the right track.
Did CPAC have a meeting?
Yes, we did. We had our meeting on February 22nd. It was a virtual meeting. It was well attended, and a number of items were discussed at that meeting. And parents are very involved as far as working on transition. Transition is a topic that affects a lot of students when they're moving from one school building to another. Also transition when students are completing their high school and going on to transition programs to get them ready for adult life as people on their own or in group homes. So transition was a big topic that was discussed. And also the CPAC is sponsoring a speaker that will be speaking on March 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. And the target parents will be parents of students that have autism or other special needs. And it will be presented by a person by the name of Sarah Ward. So we're looking forward to that presentation for our special needs parents. And that takes care of it. Thanks.
Thank you. Community ed, no?
No.
Wellness, no?
No.
Early childhood?
I have some updates from early childhood. For the preschool program for the next, the 22-23 school year, they have 217 students already registered, which is 20 more than at this time last year. And the teachers had conferences at the end of January with all preschool families. And this summer, there will be a kickoff to kindergarten summer preschool like there was last summer, and it was primarily for students who showed a direct need for additional support, but they have some money remaining for this summer, and then it'll also be open to those who would like to send their children, not necessarily for a direct need, but then they will be paying a fee. And they've had a good turnout at the Let's Play Saturdays. They've had 205 adults and 277 children so far, and there are 3 more Saturdays
left. And there will be early childhood screening this Saturday at Eagle View Elementary.
Great. Fitness and aquatic, nothing?
Nope.
Superintendent Dip Burner.
All right, just a few things here. I'll go through these things quickly. We got kindergarten information night at our 3 elementaries, so it's a big night for parents to learn about what the kindergarten routine is. We got a lot of, obviously, first-time parent of kindergartners there, and hopefully that's going well. Congratulations to our one-act play. It's been a while since we've met. I mean, it's been a month, but they won the subsection, won their conference, and finished runner-up in the section, just narrowly missing going to state. So they had a very successful year. Our dance team, first time ever in making the state meet under the direction of Coach Tiffany Sandhurst, and they finished 7th in high kick and 9th in jazz, so congratulations to them. And then gymnastics, highest finish I think they've had since 2003. We're in the large class. There's 2 classes. We finished runner-up to Wyzetta. And Daryl Christian and assistant Doug Amundsen, congratulations to them. We had Ava Bruger, who finished 2nd in the all-around and 2nd in the uneven bars. So it was a fantastic season for a gymnastics team, very talented group. Boys swimming, inaugural season, our first season ever. Kristen Munden's the coach with Heather Otto and Tracy Torgerson. We've got kids going to the state, so first year in swimming. Congratulations to Jacob Bizik and Brendan Panka. So it's an exciting time to see that done. Wrestling, state wrestling's this weekend, individual. We had 7 wrestlers qualify for state. Lawson Aller, Destiny Lofton, defending state champion Corey Biskins, Colton Bornhart, Evan Farley, Joey Novak, and Evan Anderson. So that's just tremendous. And then lastly, boys hockey is in the section championship this Wednesday against Albert Lee. So we wish them the best.
Okay, moving on. District's response to recent racist incidents.
Okay. It's my response tonight, and then obviously members of the school board, if you have any questions or comments when I get done, I'll be able to answer them. The investigation of the alleged incident at the girls' basketball game is nearing completion, so I will not comment further on that at this time. Upon conclusion of the investigation, a public statement will be released. Regardless of the outcome of the investigation, there are other hate speech incidents that have surfaced in the past week. There has also been an increasing pattern of hate speech incidents when we compare from 2 years ago. New Prairie area schools does not and will not tolerate hate speech and racism in our schools. I apologize on behalf of the school community for what has happened, and while we take all reports of bullying and harassment seriously and follow up by investigating them and taking appropriate action, according to district policy and state law, we still need to be proactive and educate to prevent further incidents. Our high school principal, Nicole Adams, has hosted listening sessions this past week and is heartened by the fact that students and staff are ready to take action and ensure that our schools are a place free of hate speech. My purpose tonight is to prevent meaningful steps towards changing our culture. We will develop a plan that is thoughtful and strategic. We need to repair the harm that has been done. It's up to us as school leaders to set expectations. Hate, disrespect, and intimidation have no place within our schools. Every student should feel welcome. We can't play the blame game. We can't blame others. We can't sit still and complain, and we can't make excuses. We simply must do better. How we respond is the true measure of our school district's character. We have done things in the past, but we need to do way more. We must turn a negative into a positive, and we will take action steps to move forward and work together with students, staff, parents, and community leaders for positive change. This will be accomplished by 3 initial steps. Number 1, putting together a committee of effective, collaborative-minded people from students, staff, parents, and members of the larger community to create a school district climate task force. Task force members will include not just traditional student leaders, but representatives of multiple identity groups within the school. I have assigned Tony Boothie, Director of Educational Services, and Tremaine Fulton, our District Equity Coordinator, to handle the day-to-day planning and management of this task force. This is not a group for a feel-good exercise, but a group that will back up their words with concrete actions. Their mission will be to assess our district needs that will help provide for a more inclusive environment for all. Number 2, we will identify and provide more resources and development to staff in planning, preparing, and implementing best practices to address and eliminate these harmful behaviors and support of students and others who have been impacted. And 3, working with our student leaders involved in athletics, fine arts, and other activities to raise awareness about appropriate conduct, bullying, gender, race, and other issues. I've had discussions with St. Louis Park Superintendent Dr. Aston Osai about having our student groups come together when the time is right to lead this change at the state level. Now is the time for a plan and leadership training that can genuinely improve school climate. I believe our students and staff are ready to support change and cultivate an environment free of racism and hate speech. The focus will be on restoration and not merely punishment. In closing, let me say that these incidents do not reflect our community as a whole. I am proud to live and work in this district, and I'm grateful that our community members are people who care about others and the education of their children. I appreciate your partnership in moving our district forward. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess I have some comments. That first, I just want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and I want to acknowledge a lot of the voicemails, the emails, and things like that that I know that I've received, and we hear you. I mean, we hear you loud and clear. And so some follow-ups I want to have with you, Superintendent Dipperner, is regarding this task force. So I know you don't know the specifics yet at this point, but I mean, me obviously as a white male, I acknowledge that I'm not an expert in this area whatsoever. And so, but this task force, I mean, I want to acknowledge some of the comments that were made earlier tonight too, regarding the task force or the proposed of the task force. But I guess I just want to say, as part of this task force, do we want to have an outside party or outside group help and facilitate this? Because again, obviously at this point, we're not the experts in this area, and bringing some experts in might be a good idea.
Yep, we'll be taking a look at that.
Okay. Anything that you've had, at this point, have you had any conversations with others regarding that topic?
We've had initial confrontation or conversations with our district equity coordinator, Tremaine, and Tony, and Nicole. We've been talking a little bit, but we've still got some planning to do.
And I'm assuming on the next work session meeting, we'll be
definitely
going more in depth into this piece. Yep. And then I guess one thing I would propose too is just having a standing agenda item going forward at all of our board meetings. Just get some, just to make sure we're following up on this topic. Obviously, going forward, that'll be a request of mine as well.
Good.
Anyone else?
I have one. Going back to the sports, I was approached, and I'm wondering why we as a school don't recognize bowling. We have a freshman female who is tearing up the league right now. She bowled a perfect game. She got, I believe she's a section champion. And I was told that we don't recognize bowling as a high school sport.
I think it's a club-sponsored sport, so we should if we haven't. But we have sponsored other Yeah.
She's been awarded letters from the school.
Yep.
So,
No, I think we do.
okay.
No, I'm good.
Okay, preliminary budget. There she is.
Take a deep breath.
Okay, good evening. I just thought I would take a few minutes as we start our fiscal year 22-23 budget process, just to let you know where we stand right now. And I think we'll need further discussion at workshops, at work sessions coming up. At least I want to get the conversation started. Our current situation includes, we have drawn from fund balance to maintain our current programming. We've done that for the last several years, and we've done that, specifically on purpose. And we have done some minor budget adjustments over the past 3 to 4 years, nothing major, but as opportunities arise and just looking at things like instructional supplies and staffing, we have done some of those things and we've reported that to you when they happen. Our current budget reflects a year-end unassigned fund balance of $4.5 million, or about 10%. A combination of higher revenue and lower expenses than budgeted, about 2.5%, which I think is possible. Our year-end fund balance would be $5.6 million, or 12.6%. If you remember, our unassigned fund balance goal is 8%. So that would give us approximately a $2 million cushion for fiscal year 22-23 budget before we would meet our minimum fund balance goal. Obviously, we don't want to meet it. If we can do better, we will. This just is a slide, you've seen this periodically, showing our whole entire fund balance and our unassigned fund balance. The red is our unassigned fund balance, and if you can see from 1920 to 2021, it took a big drop, and that was because of COVID. And, the enrollment loss that we had that wasn't made up, as well as, not receiving as many federal funds as a lot of the other districts did. So we took a pretty big decrease that year. Now, additional state funding is possible with the now $9.2 billion state surplus, but we can't count on this. But things that have been discussed are compensatory revenue. Everybody's free and reduced rates have gone down because everybody gets free meals right now during COVID. They haven't had to fill out the application, so then our compensatory revenue goes down. They did not allocate enough at the state level to fully make every district whole, so I just had a call with MDE a couple hours ago, and they're working on how to allocate those funds. There's talk at the state level of trying to increase special ed cross-subsidy aid. And then, of course, the gen ed revenue formula, which is the majority of our revenue. Federal funds have partially and temporarily plugged our lower enrollment revenue hole. But because of the federal formula, we receive far less than other even smaller districts in the area. And so that didn't, like I say, it was a partial fix. And we are using federal funds for current expenses, but that is just a temporary fix. It creates a financial cliff. And we could stretch some of these grants out until 23-24, but the cliff still occurs. So, I continually look at those federal funds and how we're allocating them and how we're using them. So enrollment loss has impacted our financial picture despite our federal grants. We're also going to have, because our 2020 levy was based on a much higher enrollment level than what we actually ended up with, because that was pre-COVID. We didn't even know what COVID was when we did that. We're going to see some, fairly large adjustments going forward to make up for that. I am anticipating that, starting with LTFM, operating capital, local optional revenue, operating levy, all of that. That's all going to be impacted in the 2023 calendar year levy. In addition, COVID has increased some ongoing costs. We obviously had a lot of costs when we were going through COVID. But we have some staff shortages that have caused us to outsource some of our services, and that's typically more expensive. We've had to add some special services staffing to address some of these post-pandemic student needs. For instance, our Birth to 3 team, record number of referrals for evaluations, again, due to COVID. Inflation, we're seeing obviously utilities and all of our general supplies and everything going up just like every taxpayer is in this community. We also have the Southwest Metro Distance Learning Program for students that didn't feel good about coming back, and that is a pretty big budget item. It's probably going to be $125,000 to $150,000, and they are continuing that next year. We don't know yet how many students will take advantage of that next year. We also have increasing IT needs due to cybersecurity issues. For example, our cyber insurer will not issue a policy for us until we have some more security measures in place, and everything, of course, costs money. And then just the overall issue of state funding not keeping up with inflation. You know, we typically get 2% a year on the formula, and our staffing costs go up more than 2%. Our health insurance costs go up more than 2%. So it is an issue. And of course, we have our special education cross subsidy that keeps growing. Last time I checked, it was about $3 million a year. And so that is a pretty significant amount as well. So the next steps that we have is, you know, administration will start reviewing budget for any soft budget cuts we can make for 22-23, and we'll report those to you. And then we need to start discussions regarding additional local tax revenue starting next calendar year for 23-24. And if that is not approved by the voters, we'll have pretty significant budget cuts to deal with. So we'll start looking at that. We have to have our plan or the dollar amount we'd be asking for in August. So we'll be working on that over the summertime. Any questions at all on this?
That's for 2023 vote, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It would be November of 22. Yeah. Yeah, we're 22 right now.
We're gonna vote on it this November or next November?
This November.
Oh, okay.
Or
Yep.
the next one, yeah.
Or 23, which is
I was thinking it was in the
23-24
spring.
revenue. Yeah. It gets confusing with the years being off.
I thought it was in the spring.
It's in November, yeah. Any other questions at all?
Dandy, on those IT security, cybersecurity issues, I mean, are other districts facing the same thing, or is this like us issue?
No, they are. You know, with the missed pool, if you have over a $50 million, no, I want to say it was $40 or $50 million budget, we have to have these things in place, multi-fact authentication.
Yeah.
We have to have a training program for employees on phishing. We have to have special firewalls to proactively go out and look for cybersecurity threats, and all these are quite expensive. But we can't be issued a policy without them. Cybersecurity has become a really big issue, of course, during the pandemic, but specifically for school districts.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Is it a requirement to carry IT insurance yet?
No, it's not a
I'm sure it will be
requirement.
soon, but
Yeah, it's not a requirement, but if you have one incident, it is extremely expensive.
yes.
Yes, so, and actually a few members of the MIS group, which is about 20 school districts, have had them in the last 2 years.
Insurance is cheaper.
You don't wanna not have it.
Any other questions?
Dandy, at the next work session, are we gonna be talking about some of those soft budget cuts that you're gonna be proposing?
Yeah, we can start talking about what potential budget cuts there could be.
Yeah.
We won't have a detailed plan yet, and we do our staffing plan in April for the following year.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have approval for master agreement for the 2021, 23, 2021 through 2023 with the Technology Association. Sorry.
I'm here to answer any questions on these next 3 budget items or agenda items.
All right. Anyone have any questions regarding the technology master agreements?
I don't. This is now approved by both sides?
Yes.
Okay.
The technology one is 5 employees at the buildings. Yep.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the master agreement for the 2021 through 23 with the Technology Association.
So move.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes still on there?
No, it looks like.
Janelle?
Maybe you fell
Did we
over.
lose Denny?
I see the screen up, but I don't see him.
But it's
He wandered off.
yeah, it's showing.
He fell off his chair, maybe?
So 6-0.
Okay, so 6-0. I didn't quite hear him, that's why I was asking. So 6-0. All right. We've got an approval for the master agreement for an MOU for our principals for the 21 through 23 timeframe.
For all of our principals and assistant principals at all the buildings.
Any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the MOU for the principals.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. And we worked on Superintendent Dip Burner's contract for 22-24. In our conversation, normally it's 3 years, and we're moving it to a 2-year contract. So,
Are you hinting at something, Tim?
It's not a hint.
I'll make a motion to approve Superintendent's Dip Burner's contract for 22-24.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0.
Not that we want you to go, so.
Not at all. Okay. Yes, so I will take a motion to move into closed session per Minnesota statute 13D.03 subsection or subdivision 1 by governing body of public employer may by the majority vote in the public meeting decide to hold a closed meeting to consider strategy for labor negotiations, including negotiation strategies or developments or discussions and review of labor negotiation proposals, conduct pursuant to 179A.01 to 179A.25.
So moved.
Second.
I didn't think you were ever gonna get done reading.
Denny's back.
I heard that, but I still don't see him.
No, it looks like it's still here.
All right.